Welcome to Racing X. Today we're counting down our picks for the best Demolition Derby games that you should check out, and without further ado, let's dive right in.
Go!
Destruction Derby. Alright, before we continue, I should let you know that this list focuses on games available on modern platforms. So yeah, that means some PS2 exclusives will be sorely missed. And since Demolition Derby was huge back in the 2000s, naturally some of the games here are pretty old. Anyway, this game was one of the OGs when it comes to proper Demolition Derby titles. It's the one that really brought the genre to the mainstream, mainly because it was just so much fun back then. So if you're already balding, maybe it's time to revisit this one.
Oh no! Your car's wrecked! Go!
Destruction Derby 2. Okay, now this one's the sequel to the previous game, but it was released only a year after the first, which means yeah, it's still old as hell. So if you don't know what a floppy disk is, you're probably not going to be interested. Anyway, as you can see, it's a mix of banger racing and Demolition Derby, and yeah, those are two different things, which still confuses a lot of people. Well, basically, banger racing is when you can slam into other cars during a race, while Demolition Derby is all about slamming cars without the racing part. FlatOut 3, Chaos and Destruction. Yeah, I get it. This one is literally one of the worst racing games in history, if not the worst. That said, I've got to point out that there just aren't many Demolition Derby games out there. Sure, some Demo Derby games exist on the PS2, but like I said before, this channel focuses on modern platforms. So yeah, that's why this game made the list. Anyway, if you want to play something terrible with your friends just to laugh at how bad it is, or get mad about it, then yeah, this is the perfect game for that. Clutch. This game, also known as Armageddon Riders on the PS3, is a car combat game with some racing mechanics and zombies sprinkled on top. Yeah, I know it's a weird concept, but honestly, that's what makes it kinda unique, or weird depending on your taste. Anyway, this game has a Demolition Derby mode where you can fight other cars in a stadium full of zombies. Sure, the destruction isn't as satisfying as in other more polished games on this list, but hey, like I said, there aren't that many Demo Derby games out there. So yeah, beggars can't be choosers. Carmageddon, max damage. Now, this one is technically a car combat or combat racing game, known for its brutal and hilarious gameplay. But it does have a kind of Demolition Derby mode called Driven to Destruction, where the goal is to be the last one standing against other cars. And sure, it's not a proper Demo Derby game, since it has power-ups and weapons, and yeah, the destruction physics aren't exactly its strong suit, as you can probably tell, but still, most of the time you're crashing into other cars in an arena. So I'd say that's Demo Derby-ish enough. Concept Destruction. Okay, this one's a proper Demolition Derby game made by an indie developer. And as you can see, you're not driving real cars, but miniature paper cars with destruction physics that make it feel like you're actually smashing up little paper vehicles. Also, the arena is basically the top of a table inside a studio room, decorated with paper objects and buildings. So yeah, this one also hits the mark if you're into toy car racing games. And if I were you, I'd definitely buy this game since it's cheap as hell. So yeah, this one really shouldn't be missed. Destruction AllStars. Now, this one's a unique one. It's like a mix of Demolition Derby, Valorant, and Rocket League, I'd say. I mean, just look at it. You don't lose just because your car gets destroyed. You can jump out, do some parkour stuff to grab a new car, and boom, you're back in the game, smashing and slamming into other vehicles. That said, I've got to mention this game is kind of a hit or miss. It's a PS5 exclusive and not exactly super popular. But if you're looking for a modern and different take on the demo derby genre, then this is it. Wreckfest 2. Alright, the first game was great, mainly because it brought something new to a niche where people are obsessed with driving supercars and racing cleanly. And this one tries to improve on that, but it's still in early access, which means it's not fully complete. And yeah, there have been complaints. A lot of people feel like it doesn't live up to the hype. But hey, like I said, it's still early access, so don't judge it too harshly just yet. So if you liked the first game, which I know many of you did, then yeah, definitely give this one a shot. FlatOut 4. Total insanity. Now this one isn't as good as the first two, which are considered classics by fans, but still, at least it's not as bad as the third game. Anyway, this one features an arena mode with 3 types of matches. There's Deathmatch, where you destroy other vehicles to earn points, Keep the Flag, where you grab the flag and try to hold on to it while everyone else chases you, and finally, a Demolition Derby mode called Survivor, where, yeah, you guessed it, you have to be the last one standing to win. Overall, it's not the best, but it's good enough. Trail Out. Okay, despite looking and feeling like it was made by the creators of FlatOut and Wreckfest, this one actually wasn't. It was developed by a small team of just 4 guys. Okay, maybe there's a girl on that team, who knows, but I highly doubt it, obviously. Anyway, as you'd expect from a game like this, there's a mode called Derby Classic, where you can live out your fantasy of raging against other drivers and wrecking their cars. So yeah, it's the perfect game to blow off steam after a long day at work, assuming you have a job, of course. Crumple Zone. Alright, this one's a low-poly IndyCar game that focuses on destruction and chaos. So yeah, think Wreckfest or Trail Out, but way simpler, both mechanically and visually. Anyway, there are 2 main modes here, Banger Racing and Demolition Derby. Banger Racing is basically racing while slamming into other cars, and Demolition Derby is, well, it's Demolition Derby, duh. And you know what? It even supports 2-player split screen, which means you can now always win against yourself by just leaving the second controller abandoned. And as expected, it's cheap as hell, so you've got little to lose here. Thunder Rally. Now, this one's a casual, funny game built for a local party game. It's not realistic, sure, but it never tries to be. It's pure arcade-style fun, and that's the whole point. So, yeah, if you're craving a simple, light-hearted Demolition Derby game with power-ups, then this game might be the answer, especially if you want something that supports up to 4 players on the same screen. Oh, and make sure you actually know 3 other people to play it with. I mean, you do know someone besides your mom and your cat, right? Well, I hope so. The Crew 2. Okay, this one isn't exactly a proper Demolition Derby game, it's actually a mainstream open-world racing game, as some of you probably already know. That said, there was an update called King of Mayhem, which added a Demolition Derby discipline with 2 modes, Demolition and Racing. But keep in mind, the Demolition mode here isn't the typical last one standing type. It's more of a score-based match where you earn points by attacking other vehicles and defending yourself. So yeah, if you already own this game, you definitely need to check this mode out. FlatOut. Now, this one is the OG FlatOut game, released back in 2004 when a lot of devs were experimenting with all kinds of wild ideas. And yeah, the visuals definitely look old and outdated, but don't worry, the physics are still great and it's still fun to play, especially if you don't care about online multiplayer. And you know what? The game's still available on Steam, which is kind of amazing considering most games this old get abandoned by the dev or publisher. So yeah, if you played this back in the day, you need to play it again. Saints Row 2. Okay, I know this is an open world action game first and foremost, but like I said at the beginning, there aren't many Demolition Derby games available on modern platforms, so yeah, we've got to make do with what we've got. Anyway, the Demolition Derby here is a side quest activity where you have to destroy and blow up other cars to earn some cash and respect. And as expected, there's nothing particularly special about it, unless you also happen to enjoy absurd open world games. If that's you, then you definitely need to check this one out.
They're on the rampage today. Most drivers are doing the
Dirt Showdown. Now, I bet some of you played this one back when you were still living at your mom's house. I mean, some of you still do, but that's not the point. Anyway, this game has a discipline called Demolition, with multiple modes included, like Rampage, where you earn points by crashing into opponents, Knockout, where you have to survive and avoid falling off the platform, Hard Target, where you're constantly attacked by multiple AI, and 8 Ball, which is basically banger racing on figure 8 crossover tracks. So yeah, definitely check this one out if you're also into the Dirt series. Gas Guzzlers Extreme. Alright, this one is actually a combat racing game, but as you can see, it does feature a Demolition Derby mode where you can crash into other cars in an arena, just like in the classic Demo Derby games. And obviously, with games like this, don't expect realistic driving physics. It's basically an arcade racer with a demolition mode sprinkled in. But still, it's pretty fun, that is if you keep your expectations realistic. So if you're looking for a combat racing game that also offers a fun Demolition Derby mode, definitely grab this one, especially if it's on sale. FlatOut 2. Just like the first game, this one was the shit back in the day, back when people still tripped over controller cables. Yeah, listen kids, game controllers used to have cables, just so you know. Anyway, the Demolition Derby mode in this game is, in my opinion, better than the first. It's way more spectacular and chaotic, making it the perfect way to blow off steam after a long day at work. Think Burnout, but Demolition Derby style. So yeah, if you don't mind playing older games, definitely grab this one, especially since it often goes on sale. The Crew Motorfest. Okay, some of you might not know that this open-world racing game has a multiplayer mode where you're thrown into a battle royale and fight other cars inside a shrinking battle zone. Basically, it's like PUBG, but with cars. That said, this kind of mechanic comes with its own issue, since most of the time, you're just driving to a certain spot, either hunting opponents or hiding from them. But then again, if you're already familiar with the game, I think you'll still have fun with it. So yeah, definitely give this one a try if you already own it. Demolition Racer. Now, as I said at the beginning, there are a few retro games on this list, and this is one of them. And for those of you who don't know, this game was one of the pioneers of Demolition Derby titles, especially during the PS1 era. However, since it's old, way too old in fact, I bet most of you won't be that interested in playing it today. But for those of you who have fond memories of wasting time on this one, you might want to revisit it. especially now that it's considered abandonware. FlatOut, Ultimate Carnage. Alright, now this legendary title is basically an enhanced version of FlatOut 2, with better visuals, better lighting, and improved damage and destruction physics. Oh, and it's got more tracks, more cars, more drivers, and more gameplay modes too. So yeah, with all those improvements, it just makes sense to get this one instead of FlatOut 2. However, if you're into online play, you can technically still do that with this game, although it requires a workaround and the servers aren't always populated. So yeah, this one's better suited for people who don't care about online multiplayer. Saints Row. Okay, this is the OG Saints Row, the game that was originally developed to compete with the GTA franchise. And while it didn't quite reach the same level as Rockstar's games, it still built a solid fan base thanks to its absurdity and unique style. Anyway, just like in Saints Row 2, the Demolition Derby here is a side activity where you can earn some cash while having fun slamming into other cars. And yeah, the visuals aren't great for today's standards, but if you're a fan of the franchise, you might want to revisit this one. Wreckfest. Now, this one is easily one of the hottest racing games out there when it comes to destruction physics. In fact, if you could only pick one game to experience virtual demolition derby or banger racing, then this is the one you need. Seriously, it's amazing. And just so you know, the dev behind this game is also the one who made the first two FlatOut games, which are considered classics, so this is basically FlatOut with modern upgrades and way more realism. Oh, and it's available on all modern platforms, so yeah, definitely grab this one. BeamNG.drive. Okay, some of you might already know that this game is the best when it comes to simulating vehicle physics, especially since it features soft body physics to simulate realistic handling and damage. And although this game isn't actually a demolition derby game by nature, let alone a proper racing game, it supports modding, which makes it super customizable. And as expected, someone made a mod for a realistic demolition derby mode. So yeah, this might not be a full-fledged demolition derby game, but if you crave that ultimate realism, then this is the only game for you. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Now, I get it. GTA San Andreas is an open-world game first and foremost, but my first experience with something close to Demolition Derby was actually in this game years ago. As you can see, it's not a proper demo derby experience, because since when does a demo derby have a passenger helping you shoot other cars? It's so absurd that the whole thing kinda stuck with me, and not only that, crushing other cars isn't even the main goal. You're actually supposed to chase red Coronas to add time and win the event. So yeah, it's ridiculous, but it still belongs here. So do you agree with our picks? Check out these other videos from us and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.